Evening all, hope you're alright. Sorry I'm running a bit late, it's just been one of those days. Very busy, just lots of things to do before I go away tomorrow, so yeah, hope all's good. Oh, I've got a bit of a funny sized thumbnail there, let's sort that out. Here we go. Yeah, so hopefully you can all hear me okay. Hey there Phil, hope you're doing well, thanks for your patience guys. Hi Mauro. Hi Era42, no you've not missed anything, you've fallen asleep. Well, I've just been late running because I'm going away this weekend, well I'm going away tomorrow actually. And basically I just have so much to do before I go away, so I've just been packing stuff and getting loads of washing on and all the usual kind of stuff, you know. So all the fun things, so yeah, so you've not missed anything at all. So the music, by the way, just in case you're wondering, is from Chrono Cross, so which came out I don't know, around about 97, 98, something like that. So sound is good, awesome. I'm just going to go and find my headphones. There we go. So, hey Late Night Reviews, how you doing? Great music, in fact. Yeah, it's good, isn't it? So, it really is good. So yeah, so we're gonna do a couple of things tonight because I am gonna do some of the Golden Kamuy pixel art because obviously that was what was promised in the stream, but I'm also gonna spend some time working on some a pixel art that I started last night of a chibi character, which I'm doing because in a week's time I'm off to Paris for Japan Expo, and yeah, so I just thought it'd be really cool to do a custom design for that. I've done this before. If you look on my YouTube channel and if you look up, I don't know, if you just search for Secret of Mana or something like that, so you'll see that I have previously done sort of custom t-shirt designs, and so I thought it'd be cool to do something for Japan Expo. So, but this, instead of it being sort of like a modern drawing with pixel art, not pixel art, sorry, done in Sketchbook Pro, I thought it'd be quite cool to do it as pixel art for this one. So yeah, so that's what I thought we would look at. So yeah, so evening Robert, I hope you're doing well, nice to see you again. So I'm on one screen whilst you work. That's it. So at least you can say it's slightly educational if you get accused of skiving off of work. So so I'm just getting some music running for me because obviously I have to use my phone to follow the chat, and yeah, it's just basically a little bit tricky sometimes if I'm okay, I think that'll do. Yeah, that looks good. Let's listen to that. So let's show you what I've been up to. So, well, I think I showed you this last time. I've got to finish it off, but basically this is the character that we've been going to do some of the pixel art this evening, which is the Sia Parat of Golden Kamuy. That's obviously hand-drawn, that one. But the first character I'm going to quickly try and do as much as possible on, because it would be great for me to finish it so that I can at least get this ordered before I go, whereas this little chibi character who is playing on a little PC engine there. So I don't know how well this will come out on the... Ooh, down. I can't really see what I'm facing at the webcam, you see. So I started working on this last night. I've got to do a bit of work on it, and yeah, so I'm going to do another one where the little chibi's, she's playing, or maybe got an Amiga tucked under her arm or something like that. So that's kind of what we're going to work on. So let's go full screen on the Amiga. I'm still using the Amiga 500. So if I just bring that into view, there it is. So there we go. It's just it's been set up from a couple of weeks ago and I've just carried on using it, to be honest with you. So right, let's just flip this over. There we go. That's how I looked on my first PC Engine stream. Is it Error 42? Yeah, I was a little bit happy about that, it has to be said. So it was pretty awesome. So unfortunately the PC Engine has to be packed up whilst I've got all this stuff out. Otherwise it's just too much stuff going on all at once on my desk and it gets a bit confusing. So I feel a bit disorganised tonight. Sorry guys, I don't mean to be. I wonder why. I think Deluxe Paint 3 just doesn't like spaces in file names. It always opens up this interlace screen and says I can't find the file. So let's load it manually. Yep. Okay, so there's a little character that I started drawing last night, but I need to do a bit more work on. So yeah, so obviously I've not drawn the rest of the body. The bounding boxes to roughly approximate 128 by 128 pixels. I just thought it was good to sort of try and lay down some kind of size limit, although I think I'm going to quite easily go over that once the full character is drawn. So let's just move that up to the top of the border, as it were. There we go. So you will see that I've basically done some... Oh, let's get rid of the brush. Oh, hang on. There we go. You'll see that I've done a bit of anti-aliasing around sort of like the eyes and the mouth and so forth. I will be putting out a little recording of this because I have actually been recording the whole process as well. So yeah, my next thing I need to do is actually take away these harsh lines of this hair rather than having a black outline. So let's do that. So we're going to just create a stencil. So I'm going to basically protect everything except the black and the background colour. So this should allow us to do that. So I'll just do the trickier part. Oh. Oops. I don't know why I keep on making that mistake after all these years. You think I'd have... Huh? There we go. It's just a little bit slow. Oh, it's because I'm on the freehand brush. I didn't realise that. I thought I was on the line tool. That's not a problem now. So basically, actually those little bits there I'm going to keep black. So just very roughly do this. And I will go over it with a finer brush in a moment. So this is just going to take some of the harshness out of the edges. You'll see something a little bit similar to this. One of the very first videos, well in fact I think it was the first video I uploaded onto YouTube, was a little preview of a pixel art representation I did from Fina out of Grandia. Very famous, well in certain circles, JRPG for the Saturn, Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation. So and yeah, so let's just zoom in now and zoom out a little bit, reduce the brush size a little. Oh, hang on. What's going on here? I seem to have changed the brush colour there. That could have been costly. Obviously, hit the square bracket key rather than the resize brush key. that in there. There we go. So you can see how that makes it just look a lot softer straight away. So, oh, don't want the spray gun tool. I've still got grey selected. Doing well here, aren't we? And yes, I do have myself a nice cold cider tonight, but I haven't drunk a single drop of it yet. I was, as I say, I just had all my camera gear to pack up for the weekend, and I've just had to make sure that was all done, all working, all my emails are replied to, and give my mum a little call as well, see that she's all right. So, as it's a long journey for me tomorrow, so yeah, so that looks nice. You still need to catch on the PC Engine stream. So basically, my plan is that on Monday, Phil, I was meant to be doing what I'm doing right now on Monday, but I was so excited about playing the PC Engine that I had to do a second stream. Yeah, it's I've been after a PC Engine for some time, and Tim from the Future is 8-Bit really turned up the goods on that one with Gary Pinkett, who you may have seen on some of Neil, that's Retro Man Cave's streams. They really turned up trumps on that one. So yeah, so that's basically what happened to Monday night's stream. The PixArt stream made way for me having more fun on the PC Engine, basically. To my mind, it's one of the nicest 2D 4th gen consoles out there. So, and as I love a good shmup, it's the machine that was made for me, really, I think. So yeah, so I've been super excited about that. So there is indeed a Grandeur HD collection coming out, Phil. I'd be very excited to see how that turns out. I've still not finished actually playing Grandeur 1 on the PlayStation. I am very near the end, and I've been at that point since just before Christmas, but I've just not found the right moment to really sit down and savour the moment, because it is definitely become one of my favourite JRPGs. So okay, that's looking nice. Now, because I'm using this darker colour, I can start using it as a bit of a shadow. So again, this goes back to something that I mentioned at the start of doing my PixArt videos on YouTube, was choose a direction for your light. And I'm going to have basically the light coming from, I'm just going to quickly draw an arrow. So the sun, or the source of light, is going to be coming from this direction, just basically in from the left. So essentially that means that this edge is going to be where the highlight is, and this edge is going to be where you're going to find more of your shadows. So for that reason, I'm just going to make this bit here a bit of a shadow, and that will start giving it a little bit of dimension. So this is a bit more like, I'm not going to say actual pixel art, but it's more like what you'd recognise as pixel art that you may see in a video game, just purely because we're really concentrating on just a few pixels, whereas the Golden Kamuy stuff, which we're going to move on to later, is more like a digital illustration, really, you know, like you do on a modern system. And obviously with my Amiga 500, which this precise model doesn't actually come from 1987, it's actually probably a late 89, 1990 model, but the technology inside of it was launched in 1987, and of course obviously much of the original Amiga hardware inside of here obviously is from a lot earlier, so because it first debuted in the Amiga 1000, so in 1985. So we're pushing the shall we say the 32-year-old Amiga 500 model to do some nice pixel art. So well deserved. Yeah, cheers. It has to be Ease. Yeah, you're right. Ease Book 1 and 2, and of course, obviously, Ease 3 is on there as well, which did a bit of a Zelda 2 thing, didn't it? But I think that is most likely to be my next game after the Chrono Trigger Tuesdays. You don't need to guess what I'm going to call those playthroughs. I'm thinking of calling it Tuesdays. Do you like what I did there? I'm so happy with that name. Still not taking a sip of my drink, have I? What it is that obviously Friday night is usually my day off night, shall we say, but because obviously tomorrow I've got to drive up to the Lake District in the north of England, obviously there will be no Friday night shenanigans, and obviously I'm also going to be shooting a wedding the next day on Saturday, so it's going to be a bit of a dry evening. So whilst I can't go crazy tonight, because obviously I do have to drive tomorrow morning, all day tomorrow, I will be enjoying this in lieu of not having my Friday evening. So yeah, I think it's going to be Ease Book 1 and 2 is going to be the next playthrough, because I quite like doing the JRPG playthroughs. I mean, and I feel like Ease would be a good one to share. There are some things which I definitely want to just play by myself for the first time, which may seem a bit selfish or strange, but I just think there are some things that are important just to play for yourself. I'm just going to tidy up something here, folks, because I've not been 100% about what I did to this, because obviously I was trying to get this as close as possible to the drawing that I did on paper, which I showed you at the start of the stream, and so I put quite a bit of detail into how the hair looked. And actually really what I want to do here is just blunt the fringe or the bangs, because it just looks a bit better with pixel art, and whilst my original drawing didn't go for that look, I feel that it's going to work better for this particular piece of pixel art. You'll see I did the same thing with Athena from Grandeur Illustration, that little 2-minute clip that I put out. So when I first started doing YouTube, over a year ago now, wasn't it? So this will just help define things a little, so, and help build up those little shadows which we're just building in here. So I might actually just bring this one down a bit. Yeah, so I hope you guys have been having a good week. How has it been treating you? Enjoying the nice weather? Mara, you see what I did there? As do you, Phil? Yes. Okay, so Mara, it's a really great question. I must take a drink of this, otherwise I would literally sit here and just end up with warm cider. This is, to be honest with you, it's a good thing. You know, I get into my drawings, so. That's nice. So yeah, Tuesdays. I'm really pleased with that. So bag it, guys, if somebody else uses it like me. Oops, wrong colour. I didn't destroy anything there, so I'm just gonna bring this one down as well. Yeah, so the device that I use, Mara, is from Terra Onion. If you Google them, it's literally Terra as in Earth. I don't know if Italian Terra means the same thing, but obviously it's Spanish Terra, Earth. Terra for those others. They're a Spanish company, as I say, hence their name. So, but I'm not sure why they're Earth Onion. Because onion is an English word. I don't know what Spanish for onion is. Oignon en français, but anyway, they're Terra Onion regardless. Doesn't matter what the etymology of the word is, does it? But basically, they're based out of Spain. They make a number of these sort of super EverDrives, shall we say, and they've recently released one for the Mega Drive in the form of like a Mega CD sort of flash cart, so you can play Mega CD games on your Mega CD-less Mega Drive, shall we say, or Genesis. And so, yeah, they're quite a prolific company. But they released the SD System 3, and that's what I use. And I have to say, it's one of the nicest bits of hardware I've ever had the pleasure of purchasing, you know, of that kind of ilk, because it's so versatile and so easy to set up. It takes a micro SD card, and it provides full emulation for Hue cards, as well as standard CD-ROM, Super CD-ROM, and arcade CD-ROM titles. Fully compatible with TurboGrafx as well. So if you've got any TurboGrafx 16 games, you know, sort of in Hue card format, shall we say, it'll still work with all of those. And the really nice bit about it, and this seems like a really small thing, but I don't know about you guys, but you know, I like my systems like the next person, but I don't like clutter. I really do not like clutter. I have almost like a nervous reaction to some of the game room tours that I will occasionally watch on YouTube, and when I just see cable after cable and I just see dust, there's dust everywhere, I get a little bit sort of freaked out by that. There's nothing wrong with it, it's just me. Anyway, so basically what it has is a Mega Drive 2 or Genesis Model 2 RGB or AV out on the back of it, which means that I can just use the same cable that I use for my Mega Drive 2, as that's the revision of Mega Drive that I own, to play my games on it, which is so cool. Terror is Italian. I thought it would be, Mauro. I tend to find that Italian and Spanish share more words in some respects than French does. So yeah, it's a superb bit of kit. I did notice they're currently out of stock on Terra Onion's website, but hopefully going to get some more. But it might be worth contacting them if you really do want to get hold of one. If not only to register your interest, but also just to definitively find out, because I've never seen one on eBay. Not that I've really looked, but I guess once you've got one, and if you love your PC engine, you're going to keep hold of it, I guess. Yeah. Oh, hey Kev, how you doing? Thanks for the shout out as always. You're a legend. Always appreciate it. Just for anybody who's just joined us, we will be doing the Golden Kamuy in the second part. I'm off to Japan Expo in Paris in just over a week's time, and I wanted to do a custom t-shirt design, and I thought a bit like the one I did for Play Expo last year when that came to London, where I did an actual recreation of Will Overton's classic Super Play magazine cover of Secret of Mana. I thought this one I will do using pixel art. So, and yeah, so that's why I'm doing this, because I'm actually going to be away for a little bit. This might be my last stream, guys, until after I get back from Paris. I'm not entirely sure yet. There wasn't one this week because things have just been a bit hectic, really. But there won't be a Chrono Trigger Tuesday next week because of my travel arrangements and stuff. So, as I will be coming back from the lakes quite late on Tuesday, I won't be back in time, and obviously it's a 350-mile drive, so that's how much is that in kilometres? I don't know, it's times 1.6, isn't it? So, well, times it by 1.5. That's half of 350. 175, so it's about 540 kilometres, isn't it? So yeah, it's a fair old way. So I'm not going to be really in the fit state or in the mood to be playing video games after that long drive. They share a ton of words. Yeah, absolutely. That's the great thing about the Romance languages. However, I really do find that French, in many respects, is the outlier. It's easier for our English speakers in many respects because see so many of the words are shared between the languages, thanks to a certain chap called William. But more power to the fact that means that it makes it easier. But obviously the actual construction of sentences obviously is totally Romance orientated, isn't it? But I think Spanish and Italian share a little bit more in common. It's Portuguese which is the one that really throws me. And of course obviously the totally forgotten Romance language, Romanian. I don't know about those on the edge there. I'm not really overly keen on that. I'm going to take that out, I think. Yeah, it doesn't really work for me, that. Don't want to overdo it. You know, it's all well and good adding detail, but it's also knowing when to actually keep things simple. That's what makes good pixel art work, isn't it? Keeping things clean. Yeah, I might actually just remove that bit altogether. Not so keen on that. You need to get a PC engine. Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, the TurboGrafx or the TurboGrafx 16 won't be compatible, will it? So, but the good thing with if you do get the Super SD system free is the fact that you could get yourself just as I have the original PC engine, which ordinarily gets a little bit shunned because it's RF output only by default. But of course, as soon as you get the Terra Onion, you're going to be able to get that beautiful, crisp RGB output. So yeah, might just tidy that bit up a bit. Yeah, I think that's working better for me there. Yeah, that's better. No, maybe not. It's probably doubling up a little bit. Whilst I want to add some shadows to the hair, let's not go too crazy. Because obviously there's going to be a bit more on the shadows on this side because, as I say, the direction of light is where this arrow is up here. And that's going to help you, excuse me, when you're shading. Yeah, that looks nice. That's good. Oh, absolutely. What France should do is adopt what the Belgians have done, which is obviously instead of saying sort of 420s like 80, is to go with like I think it is just 80, isn't it, that the Belgians use, and they instead of like 80s, I think they use 90, don't they? So, but yeah, it's really strange, isn't it? So yeah, 480 and 10. The thing that always throws me is the reading out of my mobile phone number when I'm in France, because obviously it's done in pairs of numbers, so it's not, you know, 0, 0, 6, etc, etc. It's you have. I mean, obviously 0 set is fine, but basically my number starts with 0780. You know, and then it's basically just straight into like, oh great, 0 set 80. Always interesting, so. I think when I was practicing numbers, what I would do is I would walk around reading the number plates of cars, Sounds slightly crazy, doesn't it? But basically just reading the number plates of cars just to practice numbers and the alphabet. So I don't think it's too uncommon when you're practicing a language, or learning a language rather. Okay, this is looking cleaner. Yeah. Just gonna bring that up there like so, and then what I can do is, I don't know why I'm clicking the mouse, because I can just use the square keys, square bracket keys, sorry, to change the pen colour. As long as you push it the right way like this. Yeah, that's looking good. Like so. Now, if I'm clever, what I can do is I can just snip that one out, and I can just drop another little eyebrow pixel there. Just because it's just going to hint at that line continuing, so. Yeah, you never do the PC Engine. Well, me neither. I'll just go and grab something a minute, Phil, just to show you, exemplify that. So basically what I've got here is Super Play magazine. Any Super Nintendo fan would know about this from back in the day. This was a legendary magazine published by Future Publishing. I did a video about this on my channel as well last year. I need to do more content like this, but as you may have noticed, I put a bit of a long status on Twitter the other day, just explaining that my day job has been very action-packed, shall we say, the last few months, and I've just not been able to sort of create the videos that I wanted to, so it's just, you know, too tired when I actually got in off in the evening. Yeah, sorry, I'm just looking through this magazine just to show you sort of where I probably first heard, yeah. So this is probably, I'm going to make the screen bigger. Sorry for the diversion, folks, but this is all good stuff, isn't it? So, so let's just go back here like so. Actually, that's a good point. Oh, good, you have had audio all this time, good. So, I don't know if this is going to focus. Probably not. I've got to come this way. And that way. Okay. So, this is from 1994. And the only places that you tended to... Oh, I'm doing this all backwards. It's really hard, this, folks. I hear about PC Engine was in adverts like... Right, I'm going to have to look at this. Sorry a moment, folks. Where is it? There it is. The only place you'd hear about PC Engine was in little references like this in these adverts. So this is like a little console shop or game shop up in Thurso, up in the north of Scotland. PC Engine there. So you would see it in places like that. It's a little bit late in the day for the PC Engine's actual lifespan, isn't it? 94, because I think it was discontinued at the end of that year. But certainly in the earlier Super Play magazines, so here I have the first, well, I've got most of the issues of Super Play actually. One of the few magazines, well, I say most, I kept most of the ones that I bought. So I actually have the first 3 issues, and this, unlike all my other magazines, which I just leave on the shelf and they're a bit tatty, these ones I do actually look after. So this is from November 1992. Editor was Matt Bealby, who obviously started Amiga Power as well. But yeah, like you, Phil, I wasn't aware that BC Kid was PC Kid on the PC Engine and stuff like that. So let's just see, because this is late 92, so when basically the Super Nintendo was launched in Europe, and the PC Engine was still very much a thing. So there'd have been a few more adverts for PC Engine stuff. I'm just trying to find something. Bit of a diversion here, you'll agree, but... Look at stuff like that. Future Entertainment Show. Where's that? Is that Earl's Court? Yeah. November the 5th to the 8th, 1992. Look at all those names at the top there. Acclaim, Commodore, was that Domark, Gremlin, I don't know who's on the end there. Oh, Electronic Arts, Microprose, Nintendo, Ocean, Blast from the Past. I'm sure in here there would be an advert like advertising the PC Engine. I'm not going to spend ages looking at this, folks, because otherwise I'll just get drawn into this and you'll be just like, this is so boring. Yeah. Well, I certainly do remember this was where I found out about or heard of a PC Engine to start with. But yeah, there was a little bit of a rare beastie, shall we say. There you go. Yeah, so this isn't so much... Does it show consoles? No. But it would be adverts like this one here, where, again, I'm going to have to come around this way to do this. So you'd see, like, PC Engine games here. So that would be the only way you'd find out about it. So, yeah. Ciao, amico! Come stai? Sì, va bene, va bene. Molto bene. Okay, so let's go back full screen on the Amiga. A bit of a diversion there, but... So, as you just joined us, Miyako, we will be going back to the Golden Kamuy stuff shortly. Well, shortly, this evening. I'm just finishing off a design for Japan Expo, where I'm going in a week or so's time. I want to just try and get as much of this done before I go, so... away tomorrow. Not to Paris tomorrow, but basically I'm off on my wedding photography travels tomorrow, so... Let's just tidy this up. And so I'm not going to have a lot of time between now and the end of next week to do this, so I'm hoping to at least get this most of the way there so that maybe one evening, unfortunately using UAE because I'll be on the road, I'll be able to finish this up and then get the t-shirt ordered. So, and I will be creating a range of t-shirts to buy, actually, folks. So various different characters, different systems, you know, Amigas, PC Engines, Super NESs, Mega Drives, all that kind of stuff, all the good stuff. Just for these little chibi characters, all sorts of different little sort of poses and stuff, I guess. So look out for those at some point. I'll be announcing them on Twitter probably, so not just yet, but soonish. So I need to get everything sorted out for that first. But yeah, so that's why I'm just doing this at the moment. So just to get a little bit ahead of myself. Thumbs up for Pixel. Ah, thank you. That's very kind. So yeah, this is just based off of a little chibi that I drew on what night? Monday night, maybe? Maybe it was Sunday night. I forget now. I drew it this week sometime. There we go. This is looking nice. Right, okay, so that's looking okay, I think. I could do some more shading in the hair, but I'm going to move things on to the rest of the chibi shortly. So, we'll just park that there. I now need a slightly darker yellow just to do a bit of shading here. I don't think this colour here is in use. No. So let's just copy that. Just bring that value down just a little. Actually, I'm going to use this as the highlight. Not quite the highlight, but... Well, I'm doing this the wrong way around, really, aren't I? Okay, bear with me whilst I just sort this little bit of a mess that I've made there out. Okay, so that becomes the highlight. This one can become the main colour of the little scrunchie, and then this one here I think we're going to be able to use as the shadow. Something like that anyway, so... don't like that very much actually, folks. That's not worked as I hoped it would in my mind's eye. Yeah, it's a bit weird. No worries though. You'll learn from me fixing stuff, that's for sure, so... Yeah, that's not really working the way that I hoped it would. Let's just change that to that yellow, I'm not really using it. Might do it. It's just that might work actually. That's me talking to myself. It might be that by comparison that these sort of yellows I'm using just a little bit too dark. So I think that this one just needs a little bit more luminosity. Okay, that's not too bad. I might have to come back to those as I get a few ideas about how to tidy that all up. If you like, subscribe. Thank you, Miyako. Yeah, those ads definitely caught your eye, Phil. Definitely. That was it, you see, because when I was younger, I didn't understand, like, what is a Super Famicom? It was, I don't know when it was I figured it out. I think it was only really when I sort of started reading Superplay that because they did explain all the import business, but I think even then it took a little while for the penny to drop for me, so... But I was quite young at the time, so... It was all a bit, well, quite literally foreign to me, shall we say. Yeah, that's working better for me. Might be able to get away with just a slight grey here. So we'll leave that as is for now. Because I will probably end up using 32 colours for this one, so... Okay, that's looking good. Right, so next step is to just take out the harshness of this, the black around the jawline and here. So I'm going to take this one here because I've been using that to anti-alias. And I'm just going to make this a bit darker. probably going to need to go somewhere around. I don't really want it to be without a bit of the hue. Let's just see how that looks. I think it needs to be, maybe it needs to be a bit more like, just gonna try something here. Maybe something like that. That might be it. That's too light. I knew I got a bit carried away with my anti-aliasing last night. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I need to invert some of this around. Easier said than done. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Because that's going to be, this colour here is going to become my black. This one's going to be the one that becomes the one that softens it, so... Yeah, I think that's going to work, so let's see. Let's clear the stencil. I'm going to change these pixels. And that. Now let's make them that colour. Just before I do that, let's save. Like so. Okay, I think that's caught all of the darker ones that I've anti-aliased with around there. And now let's that one is locked. Good. Okay, I think that will do it. Yeah. I've got a little bit of errant sort of emerald colour there, so we'll sort that out. And now that's in place, I can tweak this a little bit more. Turn the stencil off. There we go. You'll notice I do try things sometimes which just plainly don't work, but I just like to check them out just for my own purposes, so. I don't usually anti-alias on the outside of outlines, folks, but because this is going to be printed onto white, I can get away with it here, I think. Well, I know I can, so there's no think about it, so. There we go. And then what we can do is we can switch that stencil back on again. Yeah. I should now be able to recolour these lines here. Yep, let's make this brush a bit bigger. I've done the shirt here, but really that will eventually change to whatever colour she ends up wearing, so... Okay, cool. So making some good use of the colours here, that's for sure. Now the blue's been used there just for the time being. Just want to make sure that I actually did end up using this colour here. Yeah, oh, of course, that's the one I actually did make the lines, isn't it? That is the colour I had. That one's obviously in use, and this one's in use as well, as you can see. This one's... Is it in use? Have I not used that light grey? It is very light. Okay, that one's free. This one here I know I have. You can just see it's... Or is it? Maybe I haven't. No, I thought I had. Well, I've definitely used this one, surely. What have I not? Ow. I think it's this one that I've used, isn't it, by the looks of it? Ooh. This might look really destructive, folks, but we can use Deluxe Paint to remap the colours. Or I could just click cancel. Let's click cancel. Because I think this is the one that we decided is in use, isn't it? Okay, there. And that one's partially in use as well, but I think we can do away with that lone pixel that it's occupying. There we go. So like those last two we can get a way of reusing. Oh, brush is really big. There we go. Obviously, if you have any questions about the way that I'm doing it, just ask away. More than happy to fill you in, the whys and the wherefores. Why am I doing things certain ways? You can ask away. There'll always be a reason. It just might not be immediately obvious to you, so. Like, for sometimes it is smoother actually just to replace, smoother to replace what I call like the little join of the steps, as it were, to soften the lines rather than anti-aliasing on the outside, which can sometimes look a bit heavy-handed. So, just going to tidy this bit up here because that looks a bit weird. Yeah, that's better. That looks nice. Good, good. So I'm just extending these little pigtails here just to be a little bit more expressive, shall we say. Because they're just a little bit flat for my taste at the moment, so... There we go. That's a nice little curve there, that works for me. Let's just chip into that just a little bit. Okay, that looks a lot better there. We can do the same over here. Actually, we need to go the other way probably. Oops, don't need that. There we go. Yeah, that looks nicer. How does colour remapping work with Deluxe Paint? I honestly don't know. It is a bit like black magic though, Phil, because really all we're dealing with here on systems like the Amiga and obviously these older systems is colour registers. So yeah, I don't know how it does it. It doesn't always do it perfectly. Sometimes it does get it wrong, particularly when you make a lot of palette changes. But on the whole, you can swap more than one colour around and it seems to remember. It must have some like shadow buffer of which colour register was set at which pixel, but that's the only way I can think it does it. Like it's... Yeah, but then you'd think that uses twice the memory, wouldn't it? Because that's what all bit planes are, isn't it? It's just, if you stack them all up, it's just a reference to a colour register, isn't it? So maybe that is exactly what it does, and it does just use up more memory as a result. But yeah, it is a bit like black magic, isn't it, Phil? So I'm glad I'm not the only one that's noticed that about Deluxe Paint, thinking, well, how does that work? Okay, that's looking good. I need to do more anti-aliasing on bits and pieces, but for now I'm quite happy with where that's mostly at. So, so do I draw the rest of the chibi, which, again, let's just open it up again in my little sketch bit. So that's, I'll go full screen just to show you this again. Anybody new who's joined? There you go. So yeah, let's draw the rest of the chibi, because she's going to look a bit better when she's got all of her little tiny body back, say. Let's just save where we've got to as well. I'll just save this over 1C. I'm also going to fix the background just so that I can, as you should, any of you who've been watching for a while, means that I can do that multiple times. And then click clear. And she's back. Okay, I'm just going to carry on using this sort of like a dark brown for a moment, so that's as far as I can zoom out. So okay, so let's roughly map this out. So very roughly done this. This is where drawing stuff out sometimes to start with I find a little bit helpful for me, but it's not essential, but it's just that I can much more quickly identify where something isn't working out properly. I mean, this is never going to be an exact replica of my sketch, but as long as it captures the spirit of it, I'll be quite happy. Okay, let's just make those shoulders a little less broad, if it will let me. Oh, of course, obviously, I suppose that's fixed to the background there, isn't it? Okay, we'll tidy that up in a minute. But yeah, those shoulders are just a little too broad on that side. They might be okay. Yeah, that's a bit too broad there as well. Okay. I'm going to free the background. I don't really need to have it fixed, really, do I? So yeah, this time going to Japan Expo is going to be my very first time. So I've always wanted to go, but it always coincides with my birthday and sort of working, really. So this year I made a point of making sure that I wasn't booked for anything and that I was free to go. So yeah, so very excited. So if I can finish this in time for that event, then that would be great, because it'd be nice to have something a little bit different to wear, as it were. So and I will be making a video about Japan Expo as well. I will be bringing you a little video for the YouTube channel all about it. So oh, we don't want to cover up too much of this, because we do vaguely just want the console to be somewhat recognisable, but oops. So I might have to ever so slightly tweak this bit here. Yeah. And I can get around it by suggesting that her shoulders are slightly turned in, so it's the depaint equivalent to multiple undo then. In a way, yeah, you can treat it like that, so I certainly do. Basically, when you get to a point in your progress that you're happy with, fixing a background is a great way to basically protect it. I did a video all about that error 42 actually, which you may have seen. I'm not sure about how you can use that background layer almost as a almost like layers in a way. So maybe the arm is actually okay on this side, and maybe it's on the other side it needs tweaking actually. Let's go with that as the bit to sort out. So I'm not really measuring out anything here, folks, as you will have well noticed. I'm just doing this by eye. Ooh, make a little bit of a hash of this on here. It's about a pixel or so out on this side. That's the thing when you're working in such low resolution, there's just little room for error. There you go. There we go. That works. Obviously, Personal Paint has multiple undo buffers, so you don't have to, and as does Brilliance, to be fair. So you're not necessarily stuck to Deluxe Paint's one level of undo if you really want to do pixel art on your Amiga. There are packages out there that will allow you to do multiple undo. Okay, that's looking good. She's a little bit broader on this side, I would say, probably, than my original, but maybe that's just slightly more imbalanced on this version, but I think that's working for me. I think that's okay. And then let's just draw the bottom of her top, which is just a little bit scrunched up. And then basically the knees are, well, she's sitting sort of slightly cross-legged, isn't she? So this is a bit where I'm just going to ever so slightly go outside of those original boundaries, but hey ho, not to worry. It's not like I'm having to think about how this is going to be blitted on screen with enough speed, is it? Let's be honest. It's not like this is for a computer game where that kind of the size consideration would be something to be borne in mind. So as we create this purely as a piece of digital art, we can kind of almost do as we please with it. But it's always good practice to restrict yourself to certain parameters just to help keep you on the straight and narrow. And with pixel art, that is so important because, you know, you have limited colours, limited resolution, all those kinds of things which you need to be able to work around in effect. There we go. That's when you have to push the boundaries, absolutely, yeah. But for the very most part, Deluxe Paint is all that I need to do this stuff, so... Sometimes you have to just ever so slightly change things about your original drawing because they just don't translate quite so easily onto the pixels. So like here the leg is just a little bit different, but the main thing is actually making it look... Obviously there is nothing natural about the chibi aesthetic, is there? So I don't want to say I want to make it look as natural as possible, but there are a certain set of expected dimensions, aren't there, shall we say? This is actually the other leg, which I'm just drawing now. I'm actually going to fix a slight issue that I had with my original sketch here, so... Because I didn't actually think that the final result of my sketch was quite as it should be, so... So this one will improve on the original sketch, shall we say? Because I always thought that the foot that I had drawn, I say always, it makes it sound like I drew this ages ago, but I thought that the foot that I had drawn just didn't quite work anatomically, if I can use anatomy when discussing chibi. Because obviously, anatomy is, in some respects, the most foremost thing with chibi. But it's also the one thing with which you don't have to worry too much about in some respects. In terms of it being, you know, lifelike or believable, shall we say. There we go. Obviously these shoes will be coloured differently. I just want to define them here. There we go. And then she's got to be holding this PC engine, so let's just save there. So I'm just going to use black here and just fix here. I'm not saying that, well, I suppose I could use the grey actually, that might work better. Let's just use the grey. Just as the outline at the moment, so look more like a core graphics if I filled this in all grey. I just guess my little chibi's quite particular about the quality of her video output if she's got a cool graphics. There we go. That'll do nicely, I think. There we go. Good, good. Okay, let's just use this grey here for now. I'm probably going to end up with a... Whoops! Because background's fixed. No sooner had I fixed the background, I'd forgotten about it all over again. So there'll be a little tidying up to do with that for sure, but it gets the rough idea down, doesn't it? So just going to revise this a little. And do nicely. That's a little bit better. Let's take some of this in a bit. How's that looking? Maybe just a little bit too short on the shoulder there. There. Okay, that looks good. Now, what colours to use? You can use any colours we like. I hadn't really thought about what colour. I knew that her hair was going to be like this, sort of like a turquoisey green, but I hadn't really thought about everything else. So, what colour should she wear? I could do... I don't want to immediately default to using black because that sounds a bit strange, but could be enough black potentially. That could work nicely. For the top, that is. And then sort of like a peachy colour maybe for her trousers. Something like that maybe. But that gets the general gist of it there, doesn't it? So let's just see what black. I mean, I'm more likely to use a darker black, darker grey than this, but does that work? Bit funereal, so maybe not. So I think we ascertained that this grey was not in use anywhere, so let's just try mixing up a little peachy colour here. Maybe even slightly coralish peach, something like that. Just curious how that works on the trousers. See, I quite like that. Oh, hang on, we are using that dark grey. I can see it on the mouth now. Rats. Okay, we can quickly fix that though. I'm just going to plug that in for now. I'm well aware that it looks wrong, folks, at the moment, so don't worry, I'm going to sort that out. Okay, so let's just save there. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how the hair's turned out. I'm going to do some anti-aliasing on it though, Phil, but I don't want to spend the whole video anti-aliasing hair because that's something that takes time. I'll do a little bit in a minute so you get the impression of it though, so let's add some more colours. And that's the trick with pixel art, folks, is don't go straight in with all your extra colours right away. Make sure that you're trying to stretch what you've got already before increasing those colours. It will really help you. Let's just remap that again, and then we can use that dark grey just where we had been. I think that's pretty much all of it. And I'm just gonna bring the value up a little. There we go. So what colour top shall she wear? She could wear blue and orange. She does look quite cute wearing those colours, doesn't she? Quite happy colours, aren't they? And just to humour me, I know this will look pretty awful, but I was just curious with... Yeah, I don't like that. What about a light pink? Not to be too stereotypical, but that's quite cute, isn't it? So... a little salmon pink there. What does that look like? Obviously, I'm going to shade this properly, folks. See, I quite like that. Yeah, I'm going to shade this properly, folks. I'm not literally just going to flood fill it and call it a day. There's a lot of anti-aliasing still to do, so... But all things considered, I'm only 1, 2, 3 pixels, I think, south of that. Well, maybe 4 because obviously the blue line is. Yeah, so I'm only 4 pixels over where I ideally wanted to be with this, but that's okay. So, as I say, this is more of a piece of digital design than it is a where am I going with this? It's more of a digital design than it is a an actual piece of art that has to appear as a sprite in a game, shall we say? I don't want to make it look like she's got a double chin, but quite often you will shade underneath here just to sort of add a shadow, but I think it's not going to work. Not least in that colour anyway, so. Okay. Yeah, I think that's come on quite nicely, so. Going Bob Ross and are happy. Yeah, definitely. So, this is all about good vibes. Nice warm yellow. Yeah, definitely. So that could be quite good. What this now needs is a big tree. Yeah, not quite. Yeah. So what I might do, just because I can, I'm just going to put in the shoes a little bit more defined here with black. There we go. Like so. Pretty sure those are already in that light grey, but yeah. So I'm going to do some more shading on this in due course, but I think basically what I'm going to do is just show you how I'll anti-alias the hair. And yeah, and I think that'll probably be about as far as we take this one on this stream, but then we're going to go over to the Golden Kamuy stuff, so we'll do a little bit of that to finish up with. So that works for me. Okay, so what we need is something to anti-alias against we'll focus on the interior just for the moment. So let's take this screen here. I'll drop it into there. Oh, you might also notice my mouse pointer's changed colours because these 4 colours here I used on OCS/ECS Amigas always for the first sprite on the screen, and as the mouse pointer is the sprite, it's now become minty green. So okay, so yeah. That's probably about as in between as you're going to get between those. It'll probably make extremely little visual difference on the screen. Yeah. I think the saturation needs to come up a little. Yeah, it is probably just about there, really, isn't it? Or you could go more into the blue tones potentially, but I might just try that just for a moment, just to see how that pans out. So, because sometimes with anti-aliasing, it's more about the illusion of something rather than the reality of it, per se. Yeah, I don't think that works, but let's exchange that to there. Okay, that might be okay. Yeah, that's about it. Hey Doug, how are you doing? Hope you're good. So, yeah, how are you doing? So, Minty Mouse instead of Mickey. Indeed, yes. Indeed, Era 42. Yeah, I hope your Thursday's great as well, Doug. But yeah, how is your son doing, Doug? I hope he's alright. And stray cat you've adopted as well. Well, good for you. So, good scorching evening, everyone. Yeah, indeed, Simone, you're so right. It is It's finally warmed up here in the UK as well, actually. Not as much as it is in mainland Europe, obviously. Sort of, what is it, 40 degrees Celsius and the rest, but it's... I just closed the window there. But yeah, we've had a pretty nice day down here where I am. It's had a nice breeze straight off the sea. You made me think, actually, there is a little bit of a draft over my shoulders. Stick this over my shoulders. Yeah, it's been nice at last. So we've had a bit of a... June's been a bit rubbish to weather. I mean, we've had the odd good day here and there, but it's been a bit hit and miss, shall we say. So it's been nice to finally have some decent weather. So obviously not everybody thrives in the heat, but I would count myself as one of those people that does. I'm a summer baby, that's what I say. Yeah. You have a craving for mint chocolate ice cream, Phil? Yeah, absolutely, me too. Funny that, huh? How did that happen? So, I think basically going along these lines is going to help us just anti-alias this. So, I'm just basically being brave and putting some pixels down, and I'm going to just keep an eye on how it looks on the left. So that hopefully we can soften the edges of some of these bits and pieces. So don't want to go too mad, but just a little bit here and there will make a big difference. I'm not going to do all of this either, because literally you'll be looking at me just clicking one pixel to the next and going, But it's just to give you the idea of how it will sort of kind of work. And you can also use sort of an interim colour, like just that little one pixel there. The difference it makes just there just breaks up the line a little. So it's anti-aliasing is not just about softening, it's about adding texture and detail sometimes. So I'll just do a little bit of this, as I say, because it could be a little bit tedious watching me doing this for the whole head of hair, shall we say. But yeah, I mean, Deluxe Paint 4 does have some built-in anti-aliasing with the brushes and stuff, but we generally speaking, you're going to get the best results when you do this by hand. And it's just something that you'll get better at with more practice, really. So let's just go with something like that. So you can see how much that softens that out already and added more texture. It's almost like you can't believe that you was actually happy with it without it. So I find anti-aliasing is quite a good de-stress. It's a bit like cooking is anti-aliasing. I find that cooking is good when you're feeling a little bit stressed and you need to just wind down a little bit, you know. Yeah, anti-aliasing is a good way just to zone out to something. So yeah, that's looking quite nice. And likewise, I'm just going to do that little diagonal trick which I showed earlier on there, because that just softens that, and then you can just come underneath here with this colour here and drop that over. 3 weeks more in a cast, I bet he's okay. Oh, that's the main thing. So as long as he's okay and he's not getting too fed up of it all, so I'm sure he must be chomping at the bit. But yeah, as long as he's hanging in there. Yeah, that looks good. I don't want to go too overboard with anti-aliasing the outside, because obviously this is eventually going to be on white, you know, like on a white t-shirt really, I guess, so. And that does mean that, of course, it is going to look pixelated. You know, because once this is probably printed up, if I just quickly grab this brush. There we go, and I'm just going to flip onto the spare page, and if I double this, brush too big. Oh, come on, Amiga, you can do it. How much chip RAM have you got left? That's the only thing with working on the Amiga 500, it doesn't have 2 mega chip RAM. Oh, you've got plenty, you've got like, so you can do this. It's probably just Deluxe Paint being a bit of a whiz. Ugh, boring. You can do a 256 pixel. I mean, like, that's obviously it's not doubled up properly because Deluxe Paint won't double it up properly for me, but yeah, it's going to be a bigger brush, isn't it? So wait, the pixels will double and therefore will halve. Okay, yeah. Oh well, whatever's. But yeah, it's going to look pixelated on the t-shirt, but that's half the point. So yeah, it's good news that he'll be back to his old self soon. There you go. And what we can do is just with these little colours here, we can start, you know, making the hair just look that little bit choppier. Which is nice. So will the cat become a long-term resident, Doug? Will he be staying with you for a while, or are you just adopting him until he gets a more permanent home? Okay, I'm just going to finish off just this little corner here that I've been working on, just to draw a line underneath this, shall we say, no pun intended, and then we'll do a little bit of the Golden Kamuy stuff. So this is just definitely one of those things that just the more experience you get at doing it, the more that you'll pick it up, shall we say. Whoops. Ideally, I should really bunch these greens together so that I can use the square bracket keys just to move between the colours a lot quicker, but we'll just carry on as we are for now, so yeah. Yeah, that's looking fairly decent. Okay. Yes, that's looking all right. So I suppose in some respects, solving the puzzle of how to soften up pixel art is my equivalent of doing a cryptic crossword. Good. Now for these ones, or this bit here rather, I can perhaps just use a little bit of this. Just to soften up a little bit there. And then maybe... yeah. Actually, it works. It's actually probably pretty much bang on the original cheek line that I drew. Yeah, quite like that. That's cool. So you can see how those details can be softened up there. I do need to do a bit more work on them, obviously, but for now that's probably as good a place as any to wrap up this little part of the stream. When I say little part of the stream, obviously I spent the last almost 2 hours doing this bit, but, but yeah, it's quite nice. Yeah. Cool. I barely even touched this drink tonight. Right. Okay. Right, let's just save that now. Just out of interest, if I load this in as a brush. This is where I started. This would have been before you saw it earlier on today. So this was my first iteration of the. Why is it not letting me paste it down? Weird. Huh. But yeah, so that's where I started. So, and then we just gradually sort of cleaning it all up and improving it. So yeah, that's where I started yesterday, and I think this was our starting point today, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's where we started off today. Yeah, so yeah, looking quite good. So look a bit softer, excuse me. Once it's all done, because obviously we'll have taken a lot of those heavy black lines out of it, so yeah, it's looking pretty sweet. So yeah, quite happy with that. So just quite that. Yeah, there we are. Let's just make sure that's all saved. Oh, it's going to read about that again. Didn't want to do that. Yeah, all saved. Good, right, so Golden Kamuy. Let's change the resolution. Let's use our control key just to bring the overscan screen into view properly. There we go, so that's where we got to last time, virtually. So yes, it's coming together quite nicely now. Yes, right, so yeah, that's kind of where I was getting some inspiration from, I think, there, so... Okay. So I think what would be quite cool to start with is just get this hat drawn in. So I'm just going to fix the background layer as it stands. Or do I bother? Let's just do a stencil, because I know I've messed up the cyan sketch lines quite a bit on this one. But let's see if we can get a little bit of the hat sort of drawn in. Oh, that's how my freehand works. That's why I use the vertical line tool. A little bit more fidelity required, because obviously this is a much higher resolution. Oh, of course, obviously that cyan's not... Yeah, let's not lock it then. Let's just draw over the top. So I'm not by any stretch of imagination trying to say that this is where the hat will finish off, as it were. This is going to be the final. It's not really, I don't know whether it's a hat or it's like a headscarf sort of thing, because it ties up at the back, so it could be, but let's go with it being a hat. So I'm not tracing the cyan line exactly, because I think I can improve it a little bit. Well, in fact, I can improve it a lot in terms of smoothness of the curve, but just in terms of the actual shape. No worries, Robert. Thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a great evening as well. Good to see you again, and enjoy the rest of your evening too. And thanks. I'm looking forward to seeing the lakes. It'll be nice to head up there. So yeah, have a good one. There's a little bit of a lump there. That's not quite right. That's what happens when you get these little lumpy bumpy lines there, where you go from 1 pixel to, like, where you get this. That's when you get a lumpy bumpiness, basically. So you want to avoid that where possible. Another extremely technical pixel art term there. Obviously some of it is necessary to get the curve you're looking for, but Yeah, see that there is about right. When you want to start turning that curve downwards, you need to sort of start matching up a little bit with the steps of the pixel art. Let's just zoom out a bit. Oop. Obviously at this resolution you can get away with a little bit more in terms of not having it all buttoned up as tight as we need on sort of low resolution pixel art like what we have been working on, but it's still important to at least try to do that. So okay, I don't exactly know how this is going to be tied up at the back, so I'm just going to effect something there, shall we say, because the hat's not going to sit planted just there, because obviously Siapa's dark hair is going to merge into this, because this is going to be like it's like a black and white print, I suppose. It's not quite anti-aliasing, Doug. It's more that you get a nice curve. So, like, the easiest way to describe it would be more like, I think most people could tell that that's not a particularly smooth curve. So, you could anti-alias your way out of it, but it's much better if you start off with, like, a diagonal of pixels like so, and then maybe you bring it up to 2 pixels so that you go up, and then you might bring it so it's 3 pixels you go up, like so, and then maybe another 3 pixels, and then maybe 4 pixels. I mean, maybe I'm overdoing that, but and then you can come back down to sort of 3 pixels, 3 pixels, 2 pixels. And then with, oops, I've done a lumpy bumpy bit there. That's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it's that kind of difference. You know, with that one, I'd probably do that and then get these steps here just to say, yes, it's oh god. It's hard to see the pixels sometimes at this resolution. But yeah, you get something a little bit more like that, shall we say. I mean, obviously you do have a curve tool in Deluxe Paint, but it doesn't have as much flexibility. You can do that. It's perfectly good, don't get me wrong. Sometimes you're going to learn more if you try doing it yourself. Bump management. Yes. Bump management. That's better than working out the lumpy bumpy stuff. Sounds more professional if I say it's bump management than saying, yeah, this is just to make sure you don't have lumpy bumpies. I mean, you're not going to avoid it entirely when you're working at this kind of resolution, because with virtually, as I mentioned in the first video of this, you know, with all this overscan, because this is a PAL Amiga 500, you know, we're almost at 800 by 600. We're probably only about 100 pixels shy on the horizontal resolution, aren't we? Yeah, 96 shy on the horizontal resolution and only 34 pixels on the vertical, so that's why at this kind of resolution it gets a little bit harder to adhere to that entirely. But then, if you actually zoomed into a lot of modern video game art that's sort of like 2D, hand-drawn, you would see that. That's just the nature of the beast. So I'm just drawing in a bit of the year, and rather than doing my own style of it, I'm just going to try and keep this quite close to the original sort of character design. So it's never going to be exactly the same, because I tend to find that these are always drawn a bit like a fingerprint, almost like an artist's fingerprint. You know, that's where they put their differentiation in sometimes. Yeah, exactly. Much better than 600 by 400, Doug. Yeah, absolutely. Overscan does have its uses, particularly these days where, you know, we can actually see most of the screen. Particularly, I'm just using an LCD screen here, so I can actually see all of it fine. I mean, obviously, I'm using Workbench 1.3 here, so I don't quite have the same overscan settings on Workbench itself, but I do run my Amiga 600 and 1200 at a slight overscan, but I tend to just use normal high res, you know, like the 2:1 aspect ratio pixels for Workbench can't get the words up. Workbench usage. Yeah, coming from the C64 overscan was magic. Absolutely, it really was, wasn't it, Phil? So yeah, big borders on the 8-bits. So yeah, even when you sort of wanted to play import games on your Super Nintendo, because obviously PAL has a slightly larger resolution but a slower refresh rate, we had to put up with those borders sometimes when we was playing NTSC import games, along with everything playing at a slightly slower speed, or quite markedly slower speed sometimes. It's quite noticeable sometimes, wasn't it? Particularly games like Sonic on the Mega Drive. If I've ever played it on my sort of Sega Mega Drive collection that I've got for the PS2, which runs at 60 Hz, and I actually then go and play Sonic on my real Mega Drive, which of course is a PAL Mega Drive. It feels like I'm wading through treacle for the first couple of stages until I get used to it again. Need to make this look just a little bit more like an earlobe. It's not too bad, actually. I think we'll get away with that. There we go. I'm going to do a little bit of slightly expressive line art with parts of this picture. So, you know, rather than just one pixel wide for everything, there are going to be certain details where I slightly build up the brush, as I've done on the inner of the ear here, just to almost like it's a a slightly wider pen stroke, as it were. Hey Graham, how you doing? Hope you're well. Nice to see you. Good news on Rygar. It's looking amazing. So it really is looking truly amazing. So amazing work on that. So congratulations. Okay, so on that note of obviously putting in expressive details and so forth, that does mean that obviously when we come to sort of fill this bit in with black, I'm going to chip back into it with the white, as it were, to show out sort of like the hair and so forth. I think what I'm going to do now is tidy up this little line here. Because it's gone a little bit missing. Like so. Let's just get rid of this line here because that'll also be disappearing. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, Graham, anyway, so that's very nice of you to drop in, thank you. So hi, hey Pixels at Dawn, how are you doing? Hope you're well, Ian. You was at the cinema, what did you go to see? Hope it was good. Yeah, we've been doing a couple of things tonight. We've now spent a bit of time on this a high resolution sort of like, you know, it's let's just bring it up again. 704 by 566 overscan. So yeah, almost 800 by 600 in slightly modern day parlance, but piece of manga art from Golden Kamuy, which I started work on in the last stream. On this particular drawing, obviously there's been lots of streams in between that. Mostly of me playing games badly. I don't play them all badly. It's interesting when you go from playing games and then streaming them. Yeah. I think with more practice I'll be okay. But yeah, sometimes my gameplay really sucks on those streams. Just because I'm not trying to manage a chat and keep things entertaining and not totally lose the plot, so okay. So what's going to need to happen is that this sort of the fur on this shawl or the whatever needs to sort of continue over here. So this bit's quite time consuming because obviously you've got to draw in all of those little bits of sort of fur that are sticking up and keep it all nice and interesting to look at. Not always easily done, sometimes needs a bit of revising sometimes, but yeah. Yeah, it is really coming together. You went to see the new Men in Black film. Ah, was it any good? Oh, it was not as good as the first one. Yeah, it'd be quite hard to top the first Men in Black film, wouldn't it? So I didn't realise it was out already, so but as I don't really own a television, I'm a bit out of the loop with seeing sort of adverts for when things get released, so not owning a television is what gives me the time to play my games and do these streams. Right, I'm just going to draw the first shawl as far as that. And so obviously the hair is just going to continue sort of flowing out from the back here like so. Not really paying a lot of attention to the quality of that line there, but oh, that's quite good. It's good. Let's just say it's expressive. So the first yawn is actually going to carry on across here, so I'm just going to cap this off at the moment because this isn't the final line here, by the way. Because I'm going to flood fill a certain part of this black in a minute, so and I just need to make sure it's not going to overrun. So there we are. Blimey, 5 televisions. Well, I do have one television, but it's like a little portable CRT, so not going to be catching much actual broadcast television on that these days, am I? So. But yeah, I've never been that massively into watching television. I do watch films and stuff on DVD, but even that's a bit passé these days, isn't it? So, actually, physical media. It works for me, though. I'm quite happy with it, so. Okay, again, I'm just going to cap these off. It's going to look a bit strange when these actually do get filled in, but I just want to make sure that everything's okay. I'm just going to put a line there. It's not going to stay, because what's going to happen is that if I... Now this is where a little bit of a trick comes in, because obviously when this is flood filled, that's going to hide those eyelashes. So we almost need to just do a little safe zone around them. So we'll come up like that. Which means that I can get rid of that little bit of safe zone that I made around it. But that bit can stay. Okay, I think that's all right. Let's just take those bits out of there for now. Cool. I have a cinema card, so I put everything in the calendar. Ah, well, there you go. So that's a good idea, Ian. Phil has 3 TVs in his room at the moment. Perfectly normal. Yeah, good old physical media. No buffering, you know that, so... It works for me, as I say. I can understand you. The reason for not wanting to have loads of stuff lying around, but... I mean, I still buy physical music, so... I guess I'm just... I'm not saying I'm wedded to old ways, but if I really want something, I want to have the physical release of it, you know, because it's quite important to me. But it's not to say that's the right thing to do. It's just what I do, really. That's all it is, really. Okay, let's just see what filling this bit. Obviously we've got those cyan lines there which we don't want. So this is where we start erasing some of those markings. So that's nicer. And just like so. Right, okay. Moment of truth. Okay. Excellent. So we will have to tidy up these little lines with the fur, and obviously this looks really strange around here because obviously this will actually be hair that's just sort of a bit loose and blowing in the breeze, so it's going to look a little bit weird at the moment. So one of your CRTs is 50 years old. Wow, that is old. So CDs aren't too expensive. It depends what you're looking for. Error 42. All the common stuff is cheap as chips, but there's plenty of stuff that's obviously still released on CD, but some of the stuff can be a little bit expensive depending on what it is, really. Just like anything, isn't it? So if it's something that wasn't a lot pressed in the day or didn't sell very well and it's subsequently become quite popular, it can be a little bit harder to find. But yeah, CDs are generally, as a rule of thumb, are still cheap as chips. So yeah. Okay, so on your phone, say. Yes, SRAM is not cheap for the Amiga 600, unfortunately. I think I paid about £50 for mine last year, so I don't think the price has really changed all that much. So, okay, and now we need to erase more of these markings. I'm quite happy actually now to erase pretty much all of the cyan on this. So let's be brave. Let's do this. Because obviously whilst that cyan's there, I'm not going to be able to fill this in properly. Oops. This stage has to happen at some point. Let's just get rid of the menu bar whilst I'm doing this. And will also allow me to see the general quality of the line art as well, rather than, because sometimes you've got these scrappy sketch lines around it. It sort of gives you a false impression of actually how tidy that all looks. It's pretty much all of it. There's a bit down here. So I'll leave the rest of it because, yeah, I just will. Okay, let's see if this fills correctly. Ooh, turn off the stencil. Looks like she's wearing a slightly, let's undo that. Religious sort of garment, shall we say, which she's not, so. Yeah, she's not wearing a niqab. It's just the fact that she's got this hat, but of course, obviously, or neck scarf, shall we say? But actually, basically, from I'm just going to draw this in roughly. Actually, what I can do is I'll just fix the background just so I can show you this. This is actually pretty much where this headscarf comes down. And the rest of it is actually going to be sort of like her hair. So we're going to be able to draw in these sort of the hair streaks and so forth, like so. And that's going to make it look much more sort of apparent that it's actually hair and not sort of like a like I say, a niqab or something like that. So I'll just roughly indicate that with some lines at least. So obviously this is going to need a lot more refinement, but this is where the time is going to be taken, is actually on the hair. I have a couple of techniques which I'll show in the next video or stream on this one of how I do that. So yeah, you can see sort of at the back here there will be plenty of sort of strokes that relate to sort of the hairline, shall we say, so, or the flow of the hair. Sort of like this kind of idea, really. Yeah, that kind of idea. So yeah, 2 megabytes it was, Ian. Yeah, 2 megabytes. Love isn't cheap. Absolutely right, Error 42. I wonder how hard it'd be to make a modern alternative. Probably not overly all that expensive. I just guess it's because there is very few needs for it these days. So I guess there's, you know, that to mass produce it would be expensive. I don't even know that back in the day there was a great deal of demand for SRAM cards. I mean, I know laptops had plenty of PCMCIA slots back in the day, but I don't ever recall many people using RAM cards in them. I think they're a bit niche, really. I think the intention was they would be, but just never really caught on in that way. I certainly caught on for using it for like network interface cards and eventually Wi-Fi cards and modems and what else did you get a lot of on PCMCIA cards? That's about it, really, wasn't it? It was the main thing, wasn't it? Network interface cards. Occasional SCSI adapter or something like that, maybe, but obviously the Amiga had quite a good one in the squirrel, didn't it? But yeah. So you can see how this is going to eventually resemble sort of hair, as it were. And sometimes the best thing to do is just continue the line down like this. Like so. Let's just come in here. There we go. Okay. And then match up a bit here. Bring those lines together, maybe here-ish. Let's just cap that off. Fill it. And slightly tidy this up a little. There we go. And then what you can do is you can then just black out the bits where the strands won't actually show, because then you can be sure that you've got a curve that actually follows through. You don't want to do too many lines, but it just sometimes helps, keeps the believability up, shall we say. And you will have some sort of strands that go a little bit against the grain. But yeah, this is something that requires quite a lot of attention to detail, this particular part of the process, and I'm not going to do it all. I just wanted to emphasise that there is actually a separation between the top of the hat and so forth and this here, because it does look very much like I say, a new cap, so, but of course it's not. In fact, actually, one of the things is that at this point, roughly, you'll see that basically there are gaps in between the hair as it sweeps down. I just fill that in. So it looks like it's so yeah, this is going to be the fiddliest part of the job by far, or the drawing, but that doesn't matter, does it? But the main thing is that you can see that actually that I do have some moderate acceleration in my Amiga 500, not much, still 68,000, but really this would all still be very usable on a stock Amiga 500. Just goes to show that, you know, in its early days, you know, this really was a formidable graphics arts computer, not just, you know, low resolution with lots of colours, but also creating high resolution graphics. And obviously this one stylistically on purpose is just black and white because it's meant to look like a black and white Manga ink drawing, but obviously you add up to 16 colours, so yeah. Yeah, there were some graphics and sound interfaces at PCMCIA as well, as you say, Ian. I think you could set on this stream to parents and small to a very chilled lullaby stream, yeah. Well, I wouldn't like to say that this whole stream is one great big snooze fest, but yeah, they're meant to be relaxing. They're not meant to be frenetic. If you're looking for somebody to be shouting at Fortnite, swearing their head off, then you must have seen me last Friday. No, I'm joking. You're not going to get that kind of streaming from me, to be honest with you. I mean, there's nothing wrong if that's what you enjoy watching, or anybody who produces that, but it's just not really my approach, shall we say. So my approach is just a bit more chill, isn't it? So even when I'm playing games, it doesn't tend to get particularly abrasive, does it? But I run a family-friendly show here, so yeah. But that with the Chrono Cross music that I've got playing will be pretty relaxed, won't they? So yeah, there's quite a lot of work to do on the hair. Yeah, so even there you can see a little bit more that that's looking more like hair strands than it is like I say a religious garment of any description, or yeah. But it will take time. All good things do. And this. Seriously, I'm really pleased with how this one's turning out at the moment. So, and of course, obviously, we might need to sort of make this curve just a little bit less, you know, a little bit more gentle. Which we can do next time, I think, as well. We won't do too much of that tonight, but very simply, you can do something like that, and it just begins to take out some of the right angular nature of it also. And as I was saying, these bits here are actually going to be sort of like strands of hair that are peeling away from the main body of hair. So you should end up with something a little bit like this. Here we go. And likewise, obviously, here as well, so... yeah, so you can sort of see that there, and yeah. And what I can actually do here is just chip into this a little bit. Yeah, something along those lines anyway, so... and I might do it so that basically that this is just a little bit more of a gap. And I can just separate out just so it's here. So you see I'm dotting around a little bit, but that's just what happens when I draw, you know, whether it's on a computer or not. I get the basics all in there and then I start dotting about a bit, really, so... the hat is almost a fez. Yeah, it is a little bit like that. There is actually a nice embroidered detail in the front of it as well, but it is that kind of shape. But at the back here, just this bit here, is actually where it's all tied up, I think. Looking at the original artwork, it's just a little bit difficult sometimes to see that detail, but that's pretty much what's going on there. But yeah, it's not quite the Tommy Cooper fez. Just like that. So, yeah. Not quite the same as a Tommy Cooper fez. But it does have some similarities. That if you ever pick up Golden Kamuy the manga, or you're familiar with it, you might see sort of little bits of it that you think, oh yeah, it is a bit fezzy. So yeah, that gives you a bit of an idea there, doesn't it? So. This is why I didn't want to do too much of the fur details, because otherwise it's going to clash with where I do the hair detailing. So this is more of the neck showing through here, so... it's important actually to change the sweep of some of these curves, because otherwise it's all going to look a little bit too all in one direction. It's important that you get some slightly organic looking details out of this, where it's going against the flow. You just got to keep an eye on it on the left as always, just to make sure that it's looking realistic, really, I think is the thing. Jar Jar spoon, yeah. This is coming nicely. Do I have it planned on paper or anything? Not in this case, no. No, I'm just sort of kind of merging two things that I saw in the manga. Not exactly, but and I'm just basically doing it from basically the character style in the manga, and otherwise it's coming straight out of my head, really. So. But it does help that obviously these are defined characters, shall we say, already. So, you know, like, I know whether they're looking correct, you know, or like the characters that they're based off. So, yeah, thanks for the question, Duncan. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And thanks for the nice words. Yeah, I'm pleased with how it's coming out at the moment. So, the streaks in the hair make a big difference, and they really will do. And that's why. What I'm probably going to do, guys, I'm probably going to wrap up the stream quite shortly because I do have an early start tomorrow to do the 350-mile drive up to the lakes. Yeah, it will be a cause for celebration because obviously you'll be able to get a little bit of peace because you won't be seeing me on YouTube for a few days. You might not even see me for almost 2 weeks because I'm not sure whether I'm going to be able to stream much next week. I might be able to do something on Wednesday or possibly... actually, I'm going to leave that slightly offbeat there. But yeah, we're just going to play it by ear, really. But yeah, I'm not really sure how it's all going to pan out next week yet. But yeah, the hair is so important to get right on this. Because it's the bit that will, in many respects, make or break this. But yeah, the eyes, I'm really pleased with the eyes. Error 42, they're very much. As I say, whenever I'm drawing any illustration, you know, obviously characters, if I get the eyes right early on, or in the right ballpark, then I know that I can make it work. Because everything else will follow. That's just what I find works for me. Yeah, but yes, it really does emphasise the fact that yes, the Amiga had loads of colours and all the rest of it, but you know, it really was a graphics workstation as well. You know, it was just a great way of playing Marble Madness or whatever else it was, or doing low-res pixel art. This was the beginnings of digital art proper, isn't it? You know, so yes, I'm not overly enthralled with this bit of the hair here, but I can fix that. So and this was the little trick that I was going to show in the next one of these streams that I do, but one of the little things that you can do is just create yourself a little brush like this. And you have to create one different ones depending which angle you sweep the brush down. But kind of goes without saying that you can pick this up and you can almost use it like an angled brush. If you use the force a habit, if you use the vertical line tool, you can get some quite expressive lines out of it, like so. But you have to do different ones for different angles. But just little brushes like that can speed up the process, particularly drawing in high res, quite immensely. So again, I'm not really overly happy with the positioning of all of this, but yeah, you get the idea of how that's quite a useful little trick. Let's just fill that in again. So I'm just going to fill this in because I'm not overly happy with that, and I'd rather do that when I'm feeling a bit fresher, shall we say. So, but yeah, it's really beginning to sort of come together quite nicely there. So, you know, it's like up here, this looks a bit weird at the moment. So that can be tidied up a little, and really this should, still got that. This should be a lot more delicate along here. So, oh, if I still got that brush selected. Oh, strange. Cool. Ah, it's working now. That's a bit better. Yeah, it's just beginning to look a little bit unusual there. I mean, obviously, even though this is high res, it is still pixel art, and there are certain things that you can do on paper that just will look a bit strange if you do them exactly as pixel art. So, but yeah, you can get reasonably close to what you really want. So, tidying this up a little bit here. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to save this here, and I think that's pretty much where I'm going to suggest I wrap up the streams. It's now 11 o'clock, and yeah, so let's save there. So there's Siba and Saiichi, so some quite nice progress there today. There'll be lots of things to refine about this. Number one, the hair. There's a big detail to go on Asiapa's headwear. Yeah, and obviously then we've got obviously Saiichi to draw in, and yeah, so there's still lots to do, so it's going to keep us busy for a while. And as I said in the first stream, eventually this off grey will eventually become pure white, but to actually work with that is quite bright on the eyes, so I'm actually gonna just carry on working with it dialed into sort of like a grey, which is a little bit easier for my eyes to look at. And of course, obviously, the other thing that we did today, oops, dropped my phone. Thanks, Pixels, that's very kind. The other thing we drew today, just to remind those, obviously some of you have joined us a little bit later, was a design that I'm doing for a t-shirt for when I go to Japan Expo in a week's time in Paris. And that's this little chibi here. There she is. We're going to do a couple of these. One of them, she's snuggling a little PC engine. Not at all based on anybody that I know. Well, I don't have green hair for a start, or turquoise hair. Well, it's minty green hair, isn't it, really? It's not turquoise. And then I'll do another one where she's maybe got an Amiga under her arm or something. A slightly different chibi, not exactly the same one, but slightly different one. So yeah, that was the other thing that we started the stream off. So far, so awesome. Oh, thank you, Phil. That's very kind. Thank you so much for all your lovely comments. It's very sweet of you. I do hope you've enjoyed the stream. Let's just go back full screen and wish you all a good night. I feel quite tired now, and I still didn't finish my cider, so there we go. Cheers. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed tonight's stream, guys. If you have enjoyed it, it's always nice if you can leave a little thumbs up if you feel that it's been worth the watch. And nothing like me at all. No, nothing at all like me. You wouldn't see me doing this. So, of course I would do that. So yeah, if anyone knew somebody with PC engine, I don't know. Just don't know. Can't be somebody for here for miles around is all I could say. So, But yeah, so, and an Amiga. Yeah, like, literally, rare as hen's teeth, these people. So yeah, so that's basically what we've been up to today. We've done a bit of my Golden Kamuy piece, which is probably going to take about another 3, maybe 4 streams to do. I mean, admittedly, we only probably did about an hour on that one in the end. Maybe a bit longer, I can't remember now. But otherwise, it's... Oh, hey, Sabretooth Barnacle. Sorry, I missed your message there. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well, Sabretooth. So, don't mean to miss people who join the stream, so yes, we're going to be wrapping things up now. But thank you so much for joining us. Pixels at Dawn, Ian, obviously, Phil. Well, you've got 2 Phils in here. Phil and Phil. The 2 Phils. Error 42. I'm not sure if Mara and Miyako are still with us, but if they are, it's been lovely to have both of you here as well. Obviously, Doug, thank you so much for popping in. It's very nice of you to pop in. Robert obviously popped off a little bit earlier, and Simone, I'm not sure if you're still with us as well, but thank you so much for joining us this evening. And yeah, I think that's Kev, maybe you're still around, but I think that's pretty much all the gang, isn't it? So that certainly announce themselves into stream. But obviously, if you've been lurking, it's all good. I lurk sometimes in streams, so thank you. That's very kind, Mauro. So glad you've enjoyed it. So yeah, if you want to leave a little thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, or leave a little comment, it's always good. But certainly enjoy the video. That's the best way, so you don't have to be chatting the whole time. It's relaxing whilst you get on with other things. So yeah, so yeah, have a great evening, guys. As I say, I'm not sure when the next stream will be, but I will let you know soon. And yeah, I hope you have very nice weekends, all of you. And I will definitely see you all maybe next week sometime, but if not, it'll be after I get back from Paris. So in a couple of weeks' time. So but I'll be on Twitter, you know me. So yeah, I don't know where my keyboard's gone to. There we go, there it is. There's my keyboard. Can't use my Amiga keyboard on a Mac, can I say? Thank you, Phil. That's very kind. Mad Pete has been lurking there. Well done. Good to see you, Pete. So I hope you're well. So, yeah. Thanks, Duncan. Oh, Duncan as well. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to miss you out. So, thank you so much. I will be enjoying the Lake District, and I'll see you all soon. So, guess what remains for me to say is see you soon. Peace. Let's get the right mouse here. That one. There we go.